Hello everyone, this is Dan over here. Now this is going to be the last work I'm going to do on the entire Iron Golem farm idea that Tango pioneered. What you're looking at is the most condensed Iron Golem farm ever in existence. This, as you can see, I don't have any coverings for any of the redstoning, and this is because I kind of want to show you what the redstone is about and show you how insane the redstone is. But simply put, this right here, while being roughly the same size as Tango's original farm, is in fact 4 times the production as his, featuring a staggering 128 villages in a 32 blocks length. That's because the reason this works is that there's actually 4 villages in every single block, and as you can see, both the primary and the secondary village strips have 4 lines of doors, and so that's the way it works. All of that insaneness at the bottom is the redstone for stage 1. The reason this is needed is because you kind of have to, as you can see, it's all controlled by a single row of pistons here and a single row of pistons there. So the way it works is pretty much the same as with Tango's version. It starts off at one side and just continues going for a single row the same way. But this is where it gets more interesting. Once that's done, it starts doing the exact same for this row, while flip-flopping the bottom row completely around one way and the other, which kind of means that anytime it gets to this one, it has to open only the ones that's necessary, and when it gets to the bottom one, it has to open all of them. And once it gets to the third one, once again, it has to do nothing for the top one, open only the necessary ones for the second top one, and then open all of them for the bottom, doing that. So as you can imagine, that took quite a bit of work to get the redstone to, do that. But after that's done, this right here is the stage 2 of the reset, where all the villages, once they're formed, are moved into the main structure and connect to the 21 doors necessary to spawn golems. And as you can see, it's a bit simpler, at least, to me it's a bit simpler. It required a bit of work to get all the signals necessary to the 4 villager detectors along the side here and 4 villager detectors along the side there, along with the 2 lines here which allow the pistons to open only the necessary ones. But after it's done, as you can see, it's spawning golems right there. As you can see, it's spawning quite a lot of golems. And, it's basically 4 times as much as Tango's, or what is it, like 5,000 iron per hour, let's say. This farm is actually in between the Tango's farm and my insane 512 village farm. But as you can see, it's also over, at least 6, 7, 8 times smaller than that one, because that one, is, if you remember, continued on 4 times as long. It had the second, it rose up a lot higher because it needed the 2 villages, one below and one above, and it also needed the secondary strips on the opposite side. So if you remember, it was 10 by 10 chunks. This one is 4 by 7 chunks, and it's a lot shorter than that one. And if you actually count the amount of pistons needed for this, it's twice as efficient as Tango's farm. Now, just to show you the villager, or the villages, I didn't want to turn this on because it drops the frame rate quite low, but there you can see the villages as they're created. By the different colors, I hope you can kind of notice that there are 4 different villages created per block or cross-section length. And if we go and change it to allow you to see the golem spawning areas. You'll notice that they're all aligned perfectly, such that they all spawn on this spawn area and this one as well. So that's all good. Well, I guess let me fly over and kind of show the colorful changes. So there you go. Change that back. Other than that, I kind of added this bit of redstone here, which is kind of very compressed, but more or less it shows you the reset stages. So percent reset to stage 1, percent reset to stage 2, and the production. I kind of was playing around with it, so it's currently counting even though it's not resetting, but kind of ignore that, let's say. And yeah, I didn't do anything with the item production there. It's kind of overfilled again. Probably have to kind of just break that, pick all of that up, and replace those. But yeah, it produces it just a bit below this maximum speed that the hoppers can push through. So there's, every now and then there's a time when the hopper isn't feeding in, but mostly it's almost always on, which kind of gives you the rough estimate of how often how fast it produces the iron. But yeah, that's basically all I have for you guys for today. I will be making a tutorial for the first iron golem farm that I made, the simple one, let's say. I might get around to getting a tutorial for the large 512 version, but it'll be more of the this is the cross section, copy it, this is what you add for the sides, please do so, and now I'll walk you through the redstoning, so it won't be step by step as I plan on doing for the simple farm. And as for this farm right here, as you can imagine, like, it's all bare wiring, so I will be putting in walls along here to kind of cover this up and do something along this kind of outlook to give it a more professional look. But other than that, I might get a tutorial for it, but I'm not sure, because considering how many problems people have had making the original iron golem farm that Tango's made, and all of that fun stuff with redstone repeaters being off by 1 tick, or doors not being built in the correct orientation, or whatever else, placing the secondary village 1 block too far, too close, too far below, or too high, or whatever else. You probably know what I'm talking about. But yeah, considering how much redstone is involved in this construction, which in fact, even though it's smaller, is a lot more than in the 512 village, because the actual process of creation is much more difficult once you superimpose 4 villages into one area instead of just making it really large to accommodate. So if you guys want a tutorial, just kind of leave a comment stating so, and I might get around to it. But at the moment, I will leave the world download for this in its current state, as well as the covered up state, prettying it up and kind of putting all of this into a column and kind of covering this up, putting in ceiling and walls and all of that fun stuff. And I'll put both of those online maybe in a week or so you can have fun. Well, I'll put the second version in a week. This is coming on and will be on at the same time as the video, hopefully. So you can kind of play around and see what it does. Just be warned that the current version, the reset isn't quite at its final stage. I'm still kind of fine-tuning some kinks. At the moment it kind of does the reset and works perfectly, except that once the reset is complete and everything counts down, it kind of starts again for some non-apparent reason. So I will leave it without this redstone dust here, which means that in case you want to reset it, you have to put a torch right here. I will not do that because I want to keep the villages all created properly. But just put a torch here, wait 5-6 minutes, and come back and remove it. You just need to wait long enough for the villages to disappear before the reset happens. Usually this is taken care of by the counter over here, but as I said, this isn't at the moment working all that well. But yeah, as soon as I fix it, I'll just kind of update the download. So if you get the download and this stuff is here and works, you know it works. And in case you don't want to go inside there, if the download has the second map with all of this covered and kind of final in its name, then you're pretty much sure that everything works as intended. So yep, that's it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video and liked it. So this is Dan, and I will just be kind of signing off. So see you guys.